With just over 60 days left of Texas's legislative session, a record number of bills, over 8,000, have been filed. Accordingly, the debate details on bills can get easily overlooked, even on critical legislation. That's why we've asked legislators to come to TPPF to discuss their bills to ensure you are on top of the most important issues making their way through the Capitol. This is the layout. I'm Michele Steeb, Senior Fellow and Director of TPPF's Homeless Policy Initiative, People First. Today we're discussing SB 1388 with Senator Tan Parker. Senator Parker, welcome to the layout.
Thank you, Michele. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
SB 1388 will prohibit the operation of supervised drug consumption sites in Texas. Tell us about what sparked the need for this legislation.
Well, first of all, thank you again for the opportunity to come before you. I appreciate so much this great public service that TPPF provides. And look, we recognize that we have a real issue with these sites. Today, if you look across the country, we have federal law that's not being followed. The Biden administration, just like they've done with regard to the border and so many other things, they've absolutely turned a blind eye and a deaf ear. They're ignoring the current law. Today, these drug consumption sites are illegal across the country, but yet they're popping up everywhere, Michele. We have them today now in San Francisco, since 2021. We have them in San Francisco. We have them in New York. And just recently, the Colorado legislature now has introduced legislation to make them legal. And just this week in New York, for heaven's sake, the New York State Assembly has now made this legal. And so as a result of that, we have to address the problem here in Texas. It's a real threat to the freedom of our citizens, to the quality of life of our citizens. We have great compassion for the addict, but we need to address this. We can't give addicts this kind of environment to go and feed the addiction. They need counseling. They need support. And so, therefore, we need to prohibit this from happening in Texas on a proactive basis. And that's really what we're doing, being very proactive and addressing the situation and making certain that we make these sites in Texas illegal, period. That's in the best interest of folks that do have an addiction. They need us to pray for them. They need us to help them with regard to providing additional mental health services and supports. But clearly, you're not going to beat the addiction by feeding it.
Take us through the bill and describe how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, we are really modeling this legislation here in Texas based on the federal law. The federal law is good law. It works. It just needs to be followed by the current Biden administration and his Department of Justice. They're ignoring it, like I said a few moments ago. And so what we do basically is mirror the federal law, and then we add basically a second-degree felony for folks that are going to break the law and open these kind of facilities and try to, put forth this kind of very harmful approach to how we address addicts here in Texas.
And how would the lives of Texans, both those struggling with addiction and those who are not, how would their lives be impacted once this bill is passed and implemented?
Well, look, to me, at the end of the day, the most important thing for me as a lawmaker is protecting the safety and security of all 30 million Texans. And these sites are known to be causing horrific amounts of chaos. Crime is rampant. You can look at these different sites in other parts of the world. Look at what's happening today up in Vancouver, British Columbia, for heaven's sake. Just in the last decade, you've had a 700% increase in the number of deaths that are caused from these toxic chemicals, folks that are addicted to various substances, and crime and chaos is running rampant. And so that's what we're addressing. And so the only way to preserve and protect everybody's liberty and freedom is to make certain that we end these sites and the way they're operating today.
Some say this bill encroaches on local authority and that the state shouldn't be regulating these activities. How do you respond to that?
Well, I don't think so. My perspective is, look, there's obviously times when the state has to engage. And I think this is a paramount problem, and it's one that deserves our attention. And you've got to do this, in my opinion, with a statewide solution in order to be able to protect all of our citizens. Again, the question is, at what point does my freedom end, another freedom or liberty for another person begin? And so I think it's just very, very important that we look holistically at the situation and recognize that we're trying to do the right thing for the addict. Let's get them real care, real support services, and not feed the addiction, while at the same time protecting public safety for all of our citizens in the state.
Senator Parker, what kind of reaction have you received since filing this bill?
Getting great reaction, Michele. I mean, a lot of folks are very supportive. They recognize the problem. They recognize that we have a federal law that's being ignored, which is just unbelievable to think about. Here we are in 2023, and we have the law of the land federally being completely ignored by this current administration and their Department of Justice. And so, people are excited that we're going to be proactive. We're going to be the first state in the country to take the right step to ban these kinds of things from happening going forward. And again, I think that's in everyone's public good.
Senator Parker, we very much appreciate your time and leadership on SB 1388 to ensure supervised drug consumption sites never see the light of day in Texas. Thank you for being here.